The secret productivity hack nobody's talking about. Be honest with me here for a sec. If you are asked to choose between sitting down and doing nothing for 10 minutes and willingly electrocuting yourself, what would you choose? If your answer is duh, I'd obviously not choose to electrocute myself, obviously, then you might not know yourself all that well. As it turns out, voluntarily shocking themselves is exactly what people did in a research conducted by University of Virginia, led by Dr. Timothy Wilson. In this research, 42 participants ranging from the age of 18 to 77 were asked to sit in a quiet, empty room with only their thoughts and nothing else to do. And in front of them was a button that, when pressed, would send a mild electric shock through their body. The research concluded that most people are so uncomfortable being in their own head that 2/3 of men and a quarter of the women chose to electrocute themselves in order to feel something, anything, and not be bored. Just think about it. People dislike being bored so much that they choose an activity as unpleasant as giving themselves electric shocks rather than doing nothing. French philosopher and mathematician Blaise Pascal once famously said, "All of humanity's problems stems from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone." Was it him or someone else? It doesn't matter. Now, I'm not sure if I believe that all of humanity's problems arise from our inability to disengage. What I can say for certain though is that productivity and creativity are two things you can get really good at if you just shut the fuck up, sit your ass down, and stare at the wall for 10 to 30 minutes. Let me explain. When it comes to doing something that we are not really fond of or find too hard, we often try to put it off for as long as possible. What we do instead is that we choose to distract ourselves using media or get to doing busy work to feel like we are making some kind of progress. Busy work here refers to the kind of work you give yourself to do when there's nothing else to do. Busy work isn't harmful, but the thing is, it has little to no real value. It gives you the illusion of being productive when the truth is, it isn't really improving your life in any way. Productive work, on the other hand, has a real impact on your life. But the reason you avoid it is because it's hard and not always fun. If you want to do productive work, true productive work, but always find yourself choosing the easy way out with distractions, you have to be willing to let yourself get bored. There, I said it. You might hate me for it, but it's true. You have to let yourself be in the shoes of the idiots that chose to get electrocuted when faced with boredom. Because boredom is the secret hack nobody's talking about. If you hate reading, hate doing your taxes or talking to your mother-in-law, but you know doing these things will improve your life in miraculous ways, choose to be bored and see how your brain responds. In all likelihood, you choose those three things over sitting idle. Boredom and productivity might seem like conflicting concepts, but there's a fascinating link between the two. While boredom is often seen as an undesirable state, it can actually serve as a catalyst for increased productivity. Here are the reasons why. Number one, it stimulates problem solving. When we find ourselves bored, our minds naturally seek stimulation. This can lead to creative problem solving as our brain looks for ways to engage and entertain itself. Boredom pushes us to explore new ideas and perspectives, explore our curiosities. And this could lead to exploration of new skills, hobbies, or interests that expand our knowledge and capabilities. By embracing boredom and using it as a catalyst for exploration, we can open ourselves to continuous personal growth, right? And when our mind is fully engaged in solving a problem, productivity sort of becomes a natural outcome. Our minds seeking stimulation is not the problem here. The problem is not directing it to seek out a better source. Number two, it sparks self-reflection. Boredom provides an opportunity for introspection and self-reflection. It allows us to step back from constant distractions of the modern world and connect with our inner thoughts and desires. This self-reflection can help us gain clarity about our goals, values, aspirations, which in turn can drive our productivity by aligning our efforts with what truly matters to us. If you want to avoid busy work, then get busy knowing yourself. When you have a passion to chase, a purpose to fulfill, differentiating between productivity and busy work becomes a lot easier in my experience, because then you know what tasks you need to do in order to feed your passion, and everything else that can be just discarded. I can't stress the value of self reflection enough, especially in today's day and age when our attention is being pulled in so many different directions. Number three, it increases our attention and focus. The reason people are so terrified of being bored and always seek to drown their inner voice with noise is because of the sense of restlessness that follows. But if you always avoid feeling that sense of restlessness and dissatisfaction, how are you going to find out what's causing them? Boredom can motivate us to seek more meaningful and engaging activities to do, point out where our priorities should lie. When that happens, our heightened sense of awareness can enhance our focus and attention towards a specific task, which in turn will allow us to dive deeper into our work and with higher levels of concentration. Number four, it ignites creativity. There's nothing like boredom that provides a fertile ground for creativity to flourish. When our minds are not occupied with external stimuli, we are forced to tap into our imagination and generate ideas, right? I mean, many groundbreaking inventions and works of art have emerged from moments of boredom where the individuals allowed their minds to wander and explore unconventional possibilities. I'm sure you've heard of stories where people in the past, where these geniuses and eccentrics just fuck off into the wilderness for once, and one day they return to civilization with a idea that changes the course of history. Well, boredom can do that to a man or a woman. As comically overused the trope of disappearing from civilization to find yourself might sound, there is some logic behind it, and I want you to acknowledge that. So how do you do deep work? Do you just choose to get bored any time of the day and focus takes over? Or do you let boredom choose you during your downtimes? Well, there isn't one answer to all the questions, but through a bit of trial and error, I've figured out a routine to get into that state of flow of productivity. And it begins with identifying what's the most important task of the day and allotting a specific time to focus on it. For me personally, I'd say the hardest part of creating YouTube videos is writing the script of the video, because there's a lot that goes into it, I swear. A good script must not only be properly researched, but also written in a way that resonates with the audience. If I just sat down and typed facts one after another, nobody would be watching these videos because it would be boring. So to make these scripts as good as possible, I treat my writing as the most important task of the day. Writing is hard work. And on a scale of 1 to 10, my fondness for writing hovers between 5 to 7, let's say, on most days. I don't hate it, but I also don't wake up every day all excited and hyped up to get started. That's why I tackle this first thing in the morning. I wake up, I brush my teeth, make myself a cup of coffee, and start gathering the resources and start writing. This is my time to be intentional, to focus and put in the deep work. From 7:30 a.m. to around 9:30 a.m., I'm focused on putting down words into the document. I figured that early morning works for me because one, my mind is fresh after waking up, and two, nobody's awake yet to get in my way, and three, office hours is still far away at 10 a.m. That means I still have a 2 to 2.5 hour window to do the most important task of the day before I get involved in busy work. But here's the thing. Boredom doesn't really enter the picture here because I overcame that barrier and figured out a system that works for me. When I was still at the stage of figuring out this system 30-40 scripts ago, I willingly let myself get bored in the morning to let my brain try and find another source of stimulation, which ended up being writing. So I guess what I'm saying is I had to get bored once upon a time to do work that I found kind of boring for it to now not feel like it's so boring anymore. Does that make sense? You can try doing the same to tackle your most important task of the day. Do it the first thing right after you wake up. If you're trying to become a better writer, write. A better video editor, edit. A better athlete, train. A better philosopher, think. Or don't do it. Do whatever you want. I'm not your mom. Also, When you've successfully completed your most important or hardest task of the day, don't forget to reward yourself. Whether it is through watching something you like or eating a nice meal, rewarding yourself will motivate you to keep going. Don't forget to take breaks once in a while to disconnect and re energize your mind. Go out on a walk or hit the weights at the gym. Do whatever that moves your body and calms you down. And remember that creativity is a habit, not an accident. Most of the time, it's a byproduct of being productive. If you wait around forever, waiting for inspiration to strike to finally start working because somehow you convinced yourself it is the only way to be creative, then you're wrong. Because most of the time, creativity comes to you when you lead with action. When you're in the zone, in a state of flow, when you're so focused on progress, your brain automatically makes these weird connections between different ideas that feel novel and useful at the same time. That's how I come up with most of my scripts. I start by writing something with a core idea in mind, and then deviate, and then come back again, and then deviate some more. And finally, I arrive at the end result, which isn't always perfect, but surprisingly better than what I had hoped for. So, yeah, be bored. Get rid of distractions and let your mind wander. Find out about yourself, about who you are, what you want, and then get to work. The formula is simple, but putting it into practice is something you're gonna have to work for. Let me know in the comments if this video helped you, and like and subscribe to see more of my videos. I'll try to publish 2 videos every week. Also, like and subscribe to see more of my videos, and send this to a friend if you think it's helpful. I appreciate you all for watching till the end. See ya.